aliens visited us. And that's about it, yeah. And that's why if you believe it, you believe it. If you don't.
Some stories fade with time. This one refuses to die.
Hundreds of people today phoned the ZBC and the BBC correspondent in Harare saying they sighted an unidentified flying object last night. We have some eyewitness reports.
It almost seemed to be under the clouds. As it came past, I noticed there's no noise, and that's when I thought, well, there's something very odd.
In Zimbabwe, on a calm school morning, more than 60 children froze as a strange object drifted down from the sky. Teachers rushed out and saw it too. Phones came up. Cameras rolled. The craft hovered low and silent, almost as if it was watching them.
And then we saw something shiny. And we saw two people. They were in tight black suit. And they had big eyes. And a small, we didn't actually see their nose. It was quite small. And their mouth was quite small as well.
The sight alone was enough to shake anyone. But the real fear started afterward. An investigator arrived to figure out what happened. What she walked into would follow her for years.
I should have taken more notice. But I didn't. I was more concerned about me and not them.
And if you could summarize in just one sentence what took place September 1994 here at Ariel School, Ruwa, Zimbabwe, what would you say?
Aliens visited us. And that's about it, yeah. And that's why if you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, well.
Ariel School UFO sighting. On a clear, sunny Friday morning, on the 16th of September 1994, the children of Ariel Primary School in Ruwa, Zimbabwe, stepped outside for their usual mid-morning break, unaware that the ordinary would soon become something extraordinary. As nearly every teacher was away in a staff meeting, the playground held a quiet anticipation. Then, a bright, shimmering object caught their eyes just beyond the school fence, among the bushes and short trees at the edge of their playing field. What followed was both immediate and surreal. Dozens of children described a silver disc-shaped craft, hovering or landing in that field, its surface luminous, and its presence was silent, yet demanding attention. But that's not all, as what happened next is terrifying. The children were shocked at what they were facing. Some of them approached the fence, drawn by the strange sight, while others stood frozen, unsure if they were witnessing a miracle or just a moment out of time. From the craft, there were small figures coming out. These figures were about the height of the older students standing there, wearing dark, tight clothing, with their heads large and their eyes almond-shaped and deeply black. One student, Emily, said the beings didn't walk so much as glide. Their feet were barely touching the ground as they paced back and forth, even matching the skipping rhythm of two girls nearby. Then came the most unsettling part. The children felt watched, and some felt that the wings were watching them. A third grader named Salma said she tried to run back to the security of school buildings, but found she couldn't break eye contact with the being standing a few steps away. Others reported that there was a rush of wind and then images flashing in their minds. They saw images of trees cleared, oceans polluted, and air no longer breathable. It seemed like the aliens were passing a message about how humanity was treating the world. After about 15 minutes, as recess ended and the school bell rang, the craft and beings vanished as suddenly as they had appeared. The children scattered back indoors, terrified with their hearts pounding. They weren't sure whether what they had just seen was real or just their imagination, and they quickly went on to tell their teachers. When word reached parents and investigators, this was no longer just something that children imagined when playing together. This became one of the biggest UFO sightings in the world, and you won't believe what the investigators found out. investigations, and findings.
We saw this like a silver thing down there.
It was a silver oval thing that flew past really slowly.
I saw the bigger one and the spaceship, like 4 or 5 of them. It was red, green and yellow.
There was this big ship. It had these lights, these patterns, and it flew.
We saw this black figure running in slow motion.
The strange thing was it seemed to be in very slow motion.
Sitting on the spaceship.
How do you know it was a spaceship? Wasn't it a helicopter or something like that?
Well, it looked like it was like a disc, like a round.
And whereabouts was it?
Over in the trees over there, between the third pole.
And did you girls see that as well?
I agree that it could be something that we are not common with.
Big head and big black eyes, and was dressed in a black bodysuit.
In the days and weeks that followed the extraordinary event at Ariel School in Zimbabwe, a number of researchers converged on the site to interview witnesses, review documentation, and assess whether what the children described might be credible. One of the earliest responses came from Cynthia Hind, a UFO investigator familiar with Africa-based reports. She arrived within days of the incident. Her work included interviewing groups of children, collecting drawings of the craft and beings, and speaking with the school headmaster and staff. Terrified, one of the major developments was the involvement of John E. Mack, a psychiatrist at Harvard Medical School who had studied reports of alleged alien encounters and abduction phenomena. Mack visited the school later and applied clinical interviewing techniques to assess the children's descriptions, emotional states, and consistency. He concluded that there was no evidence of psychiatric pathology, deliberate deceit, or mass hoax behavior among the children. What makes the Ariel School case especially compelling is the number of independent child witnesses, each from diverse backgrounds, reporting similar core elements. It had a silver or metallic craft, strange humanoid figures emerging, and a chilling sense of being observed. The children's drawings, many done soon after the event and before the intense media attention set in, show consistent imagery of a disc-shaped object and figures with large black eyes. Researchers flagged this as unusual for young children who had no previous exposure to depictions of modern gray aliens. They also carried out physical site investigations of the area, and it revealed something interesting. The area where the craft had landed was inspected. It was a bushy patch beyond the playground. Investigators used magnetometers and Geiger counters, but they didn't find any levels of radiation or anomalous readings. There was minimal vegetation by the local parents, but nothing conclusive was found. But many people find this case credible because of different factors. For one, there were multiple child witnesses in a non-urban rural setting, and early documentation of drawings and written statements. Even adults noticed that the children were distressed by something, and they didn't have any motive to lie or fabricate the UFO sighting. As with any UFO sighting, the case came with some criticisms. Some argued that the interviewing techniques might have shaped responses, and others said that media interest and UFO hype in the region might have caused the children to think that's what they saw. When they filmed a UFO in Zimbabwe, the world was watching, as this was a shocking sighting. But that's not all, as a couple of years later, another UFO was filmed. This time, it was Australia, and it had already crashed. Australia UFO crash.
Your home and car insurance before July 6. You'll get a bonus 20% off your home insurance. Stop paying too much. Call Apia on 135050 and save today.
Offer valid for the first year only, not available online. T's and C's apply. APA is an authorised rep of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Consider the BDS before buying whether it's right for you. By the way, I'm with you on the berries.
On the morning of May 28, 2018, a quiet stretch of forest in rural Australia became the center of a mystery that has since captivated both locals and international audiences. According to the now circulating footage, a strange metallic object was discovered deep within the tree line shortly after residents heard an explosive crack echo across the valley. Those who arrived first described an acrid smell in the air and an unusual electronic hum drifting through the stillness, as if the forest itself had been momentarily interrupted by something not meant to be there. The video opened with the camera showing a strange object that had greatly depressed the ground where it landed. It was a smooth, curved structure that was nothing like any known aircraft, sitting embedded in the ground. The object seems to be intact yet out of place, and the surface was reflecting the dim morning light. There were no scorch marks from an explosion, no debris field, and no indication of conventional impact trauma. The object seemed placed and not crashed, and it looked like it had been there for a long time, covered in dust and cobwebs, except that no one ever noticed it. The object looked like a strange type of plane, with a round ball in the front, curved wings, and nothing like anything that had ever been seen as a human-made craft. After inspecting the strange UFO, they realized that it didn't have many of the features that are expected from a human craft. It had no standard wings, exhaust, or any other feature that made it look like a proper plane. As experts looked into the UFO, they described a sensation of being watched, despite seeing no movement or openings on the craft. Others claimed that wildlife in the area behaved unusually. The birds fell silent, and kangaroos, normally active at that hour, held a distance from the strange object. Local authorities responded within the hour when the UFO was spotted, although when they came, they only brought more questions than answers. Rather than approaching the site with investigative curiosity, officers established a perimeter and asked everyone to leave the area immediately. By midday, unmarked vehicles and personnel had taken over the scene. The object was covered, removed, and transported away under heavy protection. Till now, there's no public statement about what the craft might have been. Also in Australia, another UFO sighting happened near a school that would remind you of what was seen in Zimbabwe. It's almost like these UFOs keep going near schools. Westall UFO incident.
In this case,
This time in the UK. Although it was spotted by children, some adults also reported seeing it. Broadhaven UFO sighting.
My friend Philip here was trying to find a way over the stream, and I was looking at the bushes up the top of the trees. And then suddenly this silver cigar-shaped object seemed to pop up from behind the bushes and trying to take off. Then it disappeared again.
Well, I saw the spaceship. I didn't see the man. The spaceship, it looked a cigar shape with a dome on it. And it had a yellowy, orange to red light on the top of it.
In the crisp February air of 1977, a group of children at Broadhaven Primary School in the sleepy Welsh village of Broadhaven bore witness to something extraordinary.
How clearly did you see it?
Well, I couldn't see its face because it was too far away.
Oh, you say you saw a man as well, did you?
Yes.
And what about him?
Well, he was too far away to be seen as well.
Are you sure it wasn't perhaps just a helicopter or an aircraft from the airfield near here?
A helicopter could land there, but that's private property over there. And if they landed there, they could be prosecuted. And with an aircraft, the only thing that could get in there was a Harrier.
Were you frightened at the time?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I thought there would be a whole army inside there or something.
It was lunch break on February 4th, when a handful of boys, aged about 9 to 11, claimed they saw a cigar-shaped object descend into the field beyond their playground. According to their testimonies, the object was silver or yellow-silver, with a dome in its middle third and a row of windows along its length. There was also a red light on the craft, signaling its power or status, which pulsed gently on the top. Some of the children didn't just see the craft. They saw a figure emerge, which was humanoid in form and clad in a silver suit, although its features remained fuzzy from where they stood. One of the boys recalled saying, "It wasn't a very tall person, and he didn't look very nice either." They felt shock, fear, and fascination as they ran back to the school building, breathless and wide-eyed. Their stories stirred disbelief, and everyone was confused until the headmaster stepped in. He separated the children and handed out paper and pencils, asking each one to draw what they had seen. Despite the chaos and emotion, the resulting sketches looked very similar to each other. That was only the beginning. Over the following weeks, more witnesses emerged, and it wasn't only children. On 17 February, a teacher and several school canteen staff reported seeing the same kind of object hovering near the school field. One said that it was a silvery yellow cigar-shaped craft with a dome, and they also said they saw a figure emerge before the object glided away. But it wasn't only the school, as the local community found themselves at the center of something strange. Local residents outside the immediate school community soon joined the chorus. Hotel owners, farmers, and evening walkers said they saw strange beings, uncanny lights, or odd craft moving silently across the sky. To this day, many of those original children, now adults, continue to insist that something real was out there, and it was beyond their world. A few years before this, something shocking was happening in other schools around the world, like in New Zealand, which had an even bigger number of witnesses. Crestview Elementary UFO. On the clear spring morning of April 7, 1967, students at Crestview Elementary in Opa-locka, Florida, found their recess abruptly turned into something unforgettable. As roughly 200 children spilled into the schoolyard, their laughter and games stilled, replaced by pointing fingers and startled cries. Peering toward a tree-dotted field behind the school, several saw a strange, oval-shaped object hovering just above the pines, and they weren't imagining it. Among the first to notice was a teacher, later joined by colleagues, who confirmed what the children saw. The silent, metallic craft lingered in the sky for a few intense minutes, shimmering strangely under the Florida sun. Students who had paused their play stared upward in astonishment as the object drifted toward the school, dipped behind a pine tree, then reappeared and moved westward. One teacher reportedly summed it up plainly. It was a flying saucer. The sighting didn't end there. Kids described more than one object, some cigar-shaped. A quieter observer among them said the larger craft seemed almost like a floating ship, its metallic body bright yet enigmatic. Accounts from the day mention children running toward fences, pointing and shouting, some in shock, others in awe. Several later rode their bikes to the field behind the school, hoping to spot what they'd seen. They claimed to find flattened grass and scorched-looking patches, as though something heavy had rested there or intense energy had touched the ground. The shock wasn't limited to students. Adults outside the school, neighbors, and local residents reported seeing strange oval objects with red lights hovering just over the treetops in the direction of the school that same day. When they filmed a UFO in Zimbabwe, they couldn't believe what happened. It wasn't just a UFO, but aliens stepped out, showing them something that they didn't realize. Which of these UFO sightings near the schools do you think is the most valid? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.